Hello and welcome back everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Today I wanted to sit down and record this little video to give some updates and to announce the giveaway winner of our 2000 subscriber giveaway here, so stay to the end if you want to find out if you won or not. But first I would like to talk about something that's been on my mind since a little while. I would just like to share this update on my thoughts on it, and that is dedicated to cameras and different camera systems. And today I would like to share with you why I will probably sell this Sony camera and get something else. Here's the backstory on this topic. When I first started out with making videos and taking photos, I started with a Nikon camera, the Nikon D5300. I actually have it all backed up currently because I'm going to sell it. This was my first camera and it was a great camera. I always liked it. It had nice colors. I had a kit lens with it and in overall I really enjoyed the camera. A year ago I got this lens done. This is just the adapter. This is not part of the lens, but this is a Nikon lens that I use with this camera and I was always super satisfied with this setup. This lens is perfectly sharp. It's a Sigma 18-35. I've talked about this before and I really enjoyed the lens. Let's put this back up there so that we have a nice background. But then for some reason I thought that I needed to switch to something else. And as Sony is so hyped in this YouTube world, and I don't know, everyone tries to sell you a Sony somehow, I feel like, and they also have great specs. I mean, this camera seems perfect from the specs and from the outside. And I'm saying this camera, I'm currently shooting on this Sony a6500, which for you, if you don't know, I switched to this camera about half a year ago. I made a video back then. It is here, and when you watch that video, you might think that I'm a little controversial, because back then I still thought it is like the best camera ever. Ever since I got it, and I've talked about this before, I had some issues with it. There are two main problems. The first one is I never found a lens that I really enjoyed and that I could use with this setup. And I would now like to start following a thought that I developed, or it's not my thought, but it's something that I think is interesting, that I talked about before on the channel, which is the one lens, one camera theory. And if you saw this video that I created a little while ago, this is basically the theory of not having a lot of different camera gear and options and not always having to switch between lenses and setups, because that in the end just slows me down and makes me less creative in a way. And my dream is to find one camera that I really enjoy shooting with and one lens on it that covers pretty much all I need. And I know it's not possible to have one lens for everything, because that would be a 8mm to 400mm, everything from skateboard, fisheye to maybe sometimes wildlife photography, because I started to try that out a little bit here in the forest. But I can make sacrifices here, and that's the main goal. I would like to have this one lens, one camera setup. And just saying that, it sounds very liberating. Problem with this setup now, I have bought this 60mm Sigma lens and I have this 18-35, which I can only use with an adapter, and then I don't have autofocus, and so I use this for all these studio shots so that I have autofocus and for vlogging and stuff like that, and I use this for the cinematic shots. And I just don't like switching between these lenses and bringing both lenses all the time. And this lens with the adapter is like way heavy in the front and so long. You've seen how it looks like, and the autofocus in video doesn't work. It might seem like I'm complaining on a high level, which I probably am, but I think once I find the one setup, like the one camera body that I like, one lens that I like, then I'm not going to worry about this anymore. And now my goal is to find this one camera and this one lens, and then I'm out of this space, I'm done with it. And yeah, that's the thought. The second problem is a technical problem with this camera. I'm not sure how you view it. I know that also other people talk about this, but from the beginning on, I did not really like the color science or the colors of this camera. And it's also more like a personal preference, but when I used my Nikon camera, I almost always liked the image that it put out and the way that it treated the colors and the way that it looked. And also I saw some comments under my videos that you like the Nikon colors more. Maybe it's just because I was not used to this camera now. I'm pretty used to it now, and I'm understood a little bit how to treat the colors with this camera, but still I'm not a big fan of this Sony colors. They often look way magenta, yellowish. I feel like it really depends on the lighting, and sometimes they are really weird. I don't know, I just felt like the Nikon colors were better, and that does not mean that I'm going to switch back to Nikon, but it does mean that I just don't find the right color profile with this camera. Just more like a personal preference. And then the other thing that I don't like with this camera, but that's definitely also a personal preference, is that Sony cameras, especially the smaller cameras, for me they feel like they are more like a smartphone. and not really a camera. If you hold this camera, you're just firing off the pictures, and I think you saw it in my POV photography, forest photography video, how it works. Basically, if you go shooting with this camera, it's more about just getting it done fast and firing off those pictures, and you don't even use the viewfinder. And I know that this is like a super cliche thing, but in a way you lose the art of photography, especially in photography. I feel like I care less about in filmmaking, but in photography I just like to have a solid camera where I don't have these little buttons and this small grip, and I don't know, it just does not, I don't know. This Sony camera has all the specs, but it does not have this feeling that I need. And so I'm going to switch, but please don't take my words as a recommendation. I would not like to say which camera you need to use. I mean, it's up to you. Some people really like Sony, and that's also okay for me. It's just a personal preference. And so I'm going to sell this Sony now after using it for half a year. And I'm also going to sell my old, or actually I already sold this old camera, I need to ship it now. And I'm going to sell this lens and the kit lens. I'm basically going to get rid of all my camera gear and compress it into the one setup. So I'm finally doing the one camera, one lens theory. I'm very happy about that. In just a second I will talk about what this setup is probably going to be. But first up, I would like to say, if you would like to get a new camera and if you're interested in this stuff, I'm going to sell this for a good price. You can contact me by leaving a comment below, or my email is also linked below. You can just email me and then we can talk about everything. But I'm also going to put it on my online shop, so you can maybe check out there or see if you are interested in any of this. Now what I'm going to switch to probably is Fujifilm, and you might be surprised here, what is that or why you're switching to that. I know I just saw the new camera and I've always been looking into it a little bit. I really especially enjoyed the way that they think about how to set up the camera and how to design them. For me, that's a big part. When I look at my camera, it needs to look like dope and it needs to look cool, otherwise, I don't know. Just like if a camera looks cool. And they just announced the Fujifilm XT4. It has everything that I need, it has all the specs. One thing that it has that I really missed with this camera is the flip out screen. The Nikon camera had that. So the screen that you can flip out and tilt, so you can see yourself vlogging or recording. And I believe, and I've seen a lot of videos in it, that the Fujifilm picture profiles should be pretty cool, and they have F-Log, a turner, and however they are called, the picture profiles. But I'm pretty confident that they are going to be better than the Sony picture profiles. But the main reason why I'm actually switching is the two other things, not really the colors, is not that much of a thing. If you go to color grading and if you understand what you're doing, you can always fix it, and if you have good lighting. The first big reason why I'm switching to Fujifilm is the one lens, one camera theory. I'm going to get this Fujifilm, and then I saw the one lens that I think is going to solve the problem. They have a 16 to 50 f2.8 lens, that's perfect. It is not even that expensive. Sony also has a similar lens, but it costs so much, and so 16 to 50 with 2.8, I feel like that's pretty much everything that I'm going to need. Then the next thing, it just looks cool, and I just think it is cool to work with this camera. It has these dials on the top and it has this old school analog feeling. It is, I think, especially cool for photography, and that is why I'm going to switch. I'm still thinking about whether I should get the XT3 or the XT4. The XT3 is a lot cheaper, but it does not have IBIS or image stabilization, and it does not have a flip out screen. There are some other things, but maybe I'm going to go with the XT3. Anyway, you're going to hear about it soon. You're probably going to see the first reviews in a few months once I sold all of this, and that's also going to be another process. But now you're probably still here watching because you want to find out if you won the backpacks or the things that I give away for the 2000 subscriber giveaway, if you want any of that. So today I'm not going to do, usually I put out my phone now and search for a random generator, and it was such a pain in the ass to do this on camera. And so I already picked the winners before on my computer here. I wrote down the name of the winners, and I'm going to show them now. Please trust me, I did not cheat here, but I just don't think you want to see me count the comments for 2 minutes. So I said that I'm going to give away as the small prize 5 free products for 5 people from my online store. So whatever you like, you can pick something, maybe LUTs for your GoPro. And these 5 winners are here. Congratulations to you 5 people. You can see if your name is on here. If it is, then please reach out to me, or actually I will try to reach out to you and give you the discount code so that you can get something for free. Thanks for entering to everyone. And now I feel like I'm getting rid of almost all my camera gear, but I also really don't need 5 camera backpacks. And so here are the two camera backpacks that I'm going to give away and ship to you. Okay, first up the small camera backpack. The winner is... Congratulations, you won the small camera backpack. I hope you will like this. And then finally the winner of the big camera backpack. Our main prize for this 2000 subscriber giveaway is 3, 2, 1. Congratulations to whatever comment. I don't know the name now. But yeah, you won this backpack. I will reach out to you and ship it to you if that is necessary. And that was it. I would like to say one more time, thanks everyone for 2000 subscribers. Thanks for all the support over the years. It really still is a cool thing to do. And I really like the community that we've built here. I hope you found today's video interesting. I hope you got something out of it. And I hope you are satisfied with the giveaway results. Thank you a lot for tuning in today and taking out the time of your not so busy day probably. Okay, I'm just going to leave now because I'm just saying stupid things. Subscribe below. Thanks for watching. Peace out.